Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So tomorrow we have $1,900 checks arriving for certain Social Security beneficiaries. We're going to be going over who can expect to receive those payments. Plus, yesterday, Donald Trump won the first Republican caucus in Iowa by a rather large margin. Does anyone actually have a chance of defeating Trump? As far as the Republican candidates go, we'll be going over that as well. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $9,000 in free stock or $9,000 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Webull. All you got to do is once you click on that link, it's just to open up a free account, deposit at least one penny. At that point, Webull will be sending you up to $9,000 in free stock. And once again, if you do not want to invest at this point in time, all you have to do is just once you receive those free stocks, is just sell them for what they're worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so diving right into our lead story of today's video, and that of course is Donald Trump starting off the Republican caucuses by winning in a rather large margin in the state of Iowa. So according to NPR, former President Donald Trump has won the Iowa Republican caucuses according to a race called by the Associated Press. So we can see there that Trump won 51% of the votes, 56,620 in total. DeSantis came in at a rather distant second place with 21.2% of the vote, with 23,420 votes in total. And then Nikki Haley came in third with receiving 21,085 votes. And of course, Vivek Ramaswamy came in fourth, and he ended up actually dropping out of the race because he was disappointed with how he performed in the state. So we have one more candidate who has now dropped out of the race. Now they note here that Ramaswamy suspended his campaign Monday night and endorsed Trump for the nomination. Trump noted that despite all the money and time his opponent spent in Iowa, they were unable to gain traction in a race that Trump was overwhelmingly favored to win. Traction is never easy, Trump said. You need controversy for traction. Trump certainly has gained that. And despite canceling 3 of his 4 in-person campaign events over the weekend due to harsh winter weather, Trump called on his supporters to get out and caucus. He said, "You can't sit at home, even if you vote and then pass away. It's definitely worth it." Obviously, Trump supporters got out and voted, and not really a big surprise, but Trump won in a rather large margin. Now, next week, we are going to be moving on to Iowa. So exactly 7 days from now, on January 20, we're going to be moving on to New Hampshire. On January 23rd, that's going to be a big one, because if Trump wins New Hampshire, this race is pretty much over. Trump is definitely going to be the Republican nominee. The only chance for anyone else to have, they definitely have to win New Hampshire. So if Nikki Haley wants to win, she definitely has to win New Hampshire. If she loses that, it's pretty much over for her. The same goes for Ron DeSantis. Now, we can look at exactly how close polling was. So if we look at the Iowa polling, we can see that Trump, on average, gained 52.5% of the vote. Nikki Haley came in second with 18.8%, and DeSantis came in third. And the real results, Trump actually got 51%, so he actually underperformed by 1.5%. But DeSantis actually outperformed the polling, and Nikki Haley, of course, underperformed the polling. We can look ahead at the New Hampshire polling. So far, on average, Trump leads. He's in first place as far as the polling goes in New Hampshire with 43.5% of the vote. Nikki Haley, of course, comes in at second with 29.3% of the vote. Chris Christie in third, and then DeSantis in fourth. Of course, now that Chris Christie has dropped out of the race, a lot of the Chris Christie supporters might throw their support behind Nikki Haley. And if that happens to be the case, it should be getting a lot quicker. Of course, with Vivek Ramaswamy dropping out of the race in New Hampshire, it's very possible that his supporters will throw their vote behind Trump, which should help Trump. And in my opinion, he's probably going to take New Hampshire as well, and then go on to be the Republican nominee and then face off against Joe Biden, unless, of course, Joe Biden ends up dropping out of the race with some sort of health issue at the very last second. And then we have someone like maybe Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom step in to be the Democratic nominee. But once again, it looks like it is going to be Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. Now, speaking of Donald Trump, we actually have an organization, and Social Security Works, coming out and saying that even though Trump has attacked DeSantis and Haley lately on Social Security, on them advocating for cutting benefits, well, Trump is exactly the same. He's actually also advocated for cutting benefits as well. That's exactly what this organization is claiming. So according to Newsweek, A Social Security expert has said that Donald Trump is just as likely as his opponents Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis to cut Social Security if he is elected in November. Social Security Works has said that all three GOP 2024 presidential candidates have made promises that the watchdog deems detrimental to the Social Security Administration and its recipients. The comments have been made against the backdrop of Trump, Haley, and DeSantis attacking one another over the proposed plans of the nationwide welfare program. Newsweek contacted Donald Trump for comments via email on Monday. Now you can see the tweet that Social Security Works made there up on the screen. So they say that Trump, DeSantis, and Haley all want to make huge cuts to Social Security. That's because their priority is to protect their donors and themselves from ever having to pay their fair share. So, of course, some of the things that Nikki Haley has said, she says that a retirement age of 65 is way too low. So that's assuming she actually wants to bump the minimum retirement age from 62 up to perhaps maybe 67. I don't know what she wants the full retirement age to be. She also praised Paul Ryan's plans to cut Medicare, and she supports slashing middle-class Social Security benefits. Then, of course, we had Ron DeSantis. He voted 3 times to raise their retirement age up to 70 and privatize Social Security. That's when he was a member of Congress before becoming the governor of Florida. Since then, he's saying that we should not raise the full retirement age because life expectancy is actually declining. And then he also wants to cut Social Security benefits for millennials and Gen Z, who will need them even more than current seniors. Then finally, we have Donald Trump there, is what they're claiming. He said that he proposed cutting Social Security and Medicare every year he was president, tried to defund Social Security, and said that we're going to look at cutting Social Security and Medicare if he gets a second term. Now, of course, Trump has really come out lately and said that he's not going to touch Social Security as well, which of course could also be detrimental because whoever is the next president, whether it's Biden or whether it's Trump, something needs to be done about the program because we've seen all those reports coming out saying that if nothing is done, there is going to be a cut in benefits by anywhere between 20 to 25% come the year of, say, like 2032. Now, speaking of Social Security, tomorrow there's going to be some payments going out for certain beneficiaries. Those payments are going to be $1,900 on average. So as you can see up on the screen, who will receive $1,900 from Social Security on January 17th. So as we move further into the month, the Social Security Administration is continuing with the distribution of payments for January. On Wednesday, the 17th, the 4th round of checks for the month will be issued. Thanks to the 3.2% cost of living adjustment, the average payment has risen. Retired workers will now receive an average of $1,907 per month, up from $1,848. Couples filing jointly will receive an average of $3,033 per month, up from $2,939 in 2023. For SSI recipients, the standard payment has increased from $914 to $943 for individuals and from $1,371 up to $1,415 for couples. Of course, that is the maximum payment as far as SSI recipients go. Now, as far as who's going to be receiving the payment tomorrow for Social Security, it says according to the payment schedule, beneficiaries who were born between the 11th and 20th of any given month will receive the average check of $1,900 on the third Wednesday of that month. For January, of course, that is going to be tomorrow on January 17th. And then we have one more payment going out this month in January that is going to be the following Wednesday, next Wednesday, the 24th. Those are going to be going to those with a birth date falling between the 21st and 31st of any given month. But that's all we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.